know.
Good job, Rick.
Good job on reminding me. I might have to introduce Laura Bishop one more time now that we're recording it. So she's got a beautiful smile on Kauai, Pro 6. Laura's just, like I shared, she's an incredible leader. She has been a huge asset, you know, to help me build my business. And I've always appreciated her leadership and her willingness to help at any time. So just excited for her. And
Thanks, Brian.
so where's Pro 7? Got that date set yet?
Oh, when's Pro 7? I want to be Pro 7 by this next year. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been really pretty close, a couple months. A little off my balance still, but yeah.
Awesome.
Last month, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
you said you had a few announcements, so just let me know when you're ready for me, and I'll jump on.
Sure. Okay. A few announcements is everyone has LifeVantage academies somewhere close to you, except maybe Albert. I don't know if they can get them up in Yellowknife anytime soon, but you never know. But we have LifeVantage academies all around, so I encourage everyone to get connected. If you want to build a business and you want to be serious, you go to meetings, okay? And Laura can talk more about that, but when it comes to staying plugged in, remember, duplication is whatever you're doing, your people will do. Whatever you're not doing, your people won't do. So it depends on what you want out of your business. You know, that's a true sign of a leader, is doing what it takes. It takes sacrifice. It really does. But you know what? Moving forward, you want your business to grow. So anyway, and talking about that, we have Orlando coming up. Man, it's coming up pretty quick too. 3 weeks from now, 3.5 weeks, somewhere right in there. So I hope everyone has tickets. I do have access to some condos. I haven't checked within this last week, but if anyone needs another place, I can get them pretty reasonable. So let me know. Eric Worre tickets. I might be getting some more tickets. Okay, so if anyone needs some, I know Kim was saying she has maybe a couple extra tickets, Kim Dowell. But take inventory of you and your people. If you need tickets, you know, let us know, because I get them from Van D Flake. All right.
Quick question, Brian and Albert. How many rooms are in those condos?
You could get, depends on what's available, but there's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3.
Okay. I would be looking for 3 of them coming.
Well, the closer we get to it, you know, the less likely you'll get a 3. So
that's right. As I said, I'm still waiting on commitments from people. I told them time was getting short.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the next few days.
All right. Well, just let us know. Any other announcements that should be announced? Any meetings coming up? Melody, you've got your meetings.
Next week, Thursday, for Kalamazoo.
Okay.
And yeah.
Awesome. And Kim, are you on? Is that your 517 or is that Neil?
That's me.
So when is your meeting this week, Kim?
It's Thursday at Denny's at 7 p.m.
Okay. So we have meetings going on, guys. And, you know, Melody, she has no problem with cross line or above line, below line, wherever you're at. Okay. Either. If you know of anyone in Lansing or Kalamazoo, you know, invite them to those meetings. So if you need to know more, just let them know. All right? Okay, we are so excited to let Laura take over here. I'm going to mute my mine so that you can hear instead of grandkids running around and phones ringing and everything else.
And sorry if my voice is a little scratchy. I heard some of you were recovering from some of the flus as well, and it has hit Kauai over here too. So first of all, just thanks everyone for hopping on the call. I know it's, later in the day, your time, and we all have a lot of stuff going on. It's always a huge honor. Brian, thanks for having me to host the call. It's, this team is one of my favorite teams. There's a lot of people in here that I have just a lot of love for, and some of them I'm kind of scanning new faces. And so I'll share a little bit about my story. I want to just congratulate Kim for hitting Pro 5. Such a big deal. It just made my heart so happy. She so deserves it. And just really excited to see everyone in Orlando as well. It's a huge journey from Kauai to Orlando. I think it's like closer to go to Japan than Orlando. It's like, it's crazy, but we're going. And, so I just want to share a little bit about myself. And then Brian asked me to talk about presenting, and I'm excited to share kind of some of my favorite tips about presenting and a few different styles of presenting that I like. I know that we have Zoom in here now, which wasn't around when I first started, and kind of throws a whole new, whole new spin on things. So I live here on Kauai. I've been in LifeVantage for just about 3 years now. And I was married when I got to LifeVantage. We didn't have the family at that time. Julie Mai, she was one of my best friends. She came over super passionate and told me about the product, told me about the business, and honestly, to backtrack that a little bit, she invited me to a meeting with Daisy's first home meeting ever. Ahern was presenting, and I didn't go. And the reason I didn't go is because Daisy sent a text to Julie, and that text used the word opportunity in it. And I thought I had a closed enough, I thought I had open mind, but I saw the word opportunity, and I said, you know what, she's going to try and sell me something, and I'm not going to go. Julie had the mindset of, I'm a big enough girl that I can go and decide whether or not to buy something. So she went, they signed up at the meeting, at our first home meeting. They got 3 distributors. Julie Mai was one of them. She got her business in a box, and she pulled it out, and I tried the True Science, and really, can you guys, just says my internet is unstable, so let me know if you can't hear me. And that's really how I got involved.
I can get everyone to mute your phones, because I don't want to mute everyone for you, because then I'll mute her. So if everyone could just mute, that would be helpful.
Right. And so I got involved on really product forward. I didn't get involved business forward because we didn't know what we had our hands on. It was really heavy on the product side, and that's what was passionate. And I just want to share that with you because I'm going to kind of come back to that aspect of it. So I've been asking for something different. I call myself a little bit of a serial entrepreneur. I've done a lot of different things in my life to just kind of be able to not have a cap on my income, but always found that the cap on. I was, a waitress. I was in sales. I was in these kind of jobs where I could create my own time and be my own boss. But as we all know, you are still that slave to your business. And we really didn't have a plan B. My husband's a woodworker, and we found that something happened to him that we would have no plan B. And that's really when I took a look at LifeVantage. And to sign up, though, even though Julie Mai was my best friend and I totally trusted her, it took a third party. It took her to have Daisy on the phone with me. I rescheduled with them probably 5 or 6 times. Not even a joke. Not knowing, that Daisy was trying to organize her kids and sign, connect and sign people, get, Julie and Daisy to talk. And I just say that's because a lot of the times it has nothing to do with you when people don't call you back. It was just that I didn't want to get on the phone. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to ask questions. I never watched the ABC video. I was like the worst person ever. And finally what it took is Daisy got on the phone and she said, "What are you waiting for?" She asked me that question. And I said, I'm ready. And I gave her my credit card. And so I just want to let you know that, sometimes the people closest to you will make you work the hardest. And it really wouldn't have happened unless she asked me specifically if I would join and if she didn't get that third party on. So I just want to kind of give you a little bit of that background of, I wasn't someone who solved this right away, most definitely not. But what I found is that because I kind of came from a sales background, and I have a little bit of education in health and nutrition, that I was totally passionate about the product. And so I felt comfortable talking about the product. I went out and got, 10 to 15 customers kind of right off the bat with no problem. And so what I want to share a little bit about is the fact I think that there's two types of meetings, formal and informal. And I think that one of the things that we've kind of come back to over here, some of the leaders have talking about, is that, find out what you're passionate about and what you were passionate about when you got into this business, and use that passion. Because Julie Mai had a passion, I had a passion about the product, and I was able to share that. Because what we learned at the Last Elite Academy is however they get into the business, they usually in 6 months they switch. Right? We saw that they moved around, that people that got into the product either, became a business builder or, wanted to make a little bit more money, or people that got in because of the business also shifted to the product. So I just kind of want to touch on a couple different things like that. I'll come back to them. But for me, there's two ways that I built my business in the beginning. One, I say that you need to know how to do an informal presentation and more of a formal presentation. And when I say informal, I really mean kind of a one-on-one presentation. When I say formal, it's really more of a presentation, like a home meeting. So what I want to share is, I don't know if there's anyone here is that just loves talking in front of the room, is just like such an, extrovert, just couldn't wait to get up there. Like it's not that person. I still get nervous being on calls. Like the way I beat my nervousness is I prepare, and I learned that I've learned to do that for myself, but it's never really come easy for me. And so when I thought about presenting, it was a really, I really didn't want to do it. But I knew that I had to, because they kept saying that the people in front of the room make all the money, and I wanted to make all the money. And so I wanted to make at least some of it, right? But here is, I was thinking, before we started this call, I was thinking about my business, and how I really built my business was on one-on-ones. I've signed up about 13 people, personals, into my business over the last 3 years, and I have about 5 people that I work with on a daily basis that have built my organization to about 3,000 people. So out of those 13, some of them are friends and family. Everyone that I've signed up personally, I've signed up face-to-face. I was thinking about that, and I never thought about that before this call. And I'm going to say some things on this call that you might not want to hear, but that's my job as a leader, and you can take it however you want. I find that, Marcel Niederhaus told us this as well, is that he didn't sign up anyone until he actually sat face-to-face with them as well. And some people, I think that you guys are different. I think that you guys have had kind of a nice run of being able, because there's a lot of people in a lot of different places in this call, and you've used Zoom to your advantage. But like I said, Zoom wasn't around when I first got started. And everyone that I first signed up was here on the island, and then eventually I traveled to them. And so when I first started, I didn't really, like I said, I was passionate about the product, but I knew that there was a business opportunity, and I knew that's what I needed to do to build my organization. And so I took someone along with me to all my presentations, either by phone or next to me. Julie Mai was extremely passionate about the business, and she knew what she was talking about, and people loved her energy. And so I would have to say that we all know how to introduce someone to each other. So just remember that we all know how to introduce someone to each other. So if you're that person that's just signed up or has been in for a little while, and you don't feel like even maybe you know what you're passionate about, but you might not have a background in health and nutrition. You might not even eat healthy. So when you start talking about nutrition, people are like, they don't take you seriously, you're going to need a third party. And if you're someone who is just building a business for myself as well, people kind of knew me as being a serial entrepreneur where I've tried a bunch of different things and I've been somewhat successful here and there, but I needed to build that trust with people where they could trust me and see and meet someone who's had some results. So I used Julie Mai and I used my upline over the phone because we really had no meetings going on. And we had a few people. We had Sam Flake come out here in the beginning, and we did just what Brian Matson and Melody and have said is that you go to those meetings. So in the beginning, we flew to Oahu. We flew to Oahu, which most people are not willing to do, but I think because we made that sacrifice, of $100, $200 to go over there, that we were that much more committed because we had skin in the game. And so basically this business, as we all know, is duplication, but it's also I found what I was passionate about and I shared that. But what I didn't know, like with the presentation in the business, I just literally had people, Julie and my uplines, do the work for me until I could start to kind of parrot it, basically, of duplicate it. And I found there was the same things happening and being said over and over again. I mean, you have Rusty, Brian, Melody, amazing people here, mentors that are of a much higher enrollment rate than I do already, being, just a few years into the business. And so what you want to do is you want to really leak hands with those people if you don't feel comfortable presenting, and I really, really find that this is a business of need to need. This is a business of face-to-face. And so if you aren't familiar with Zoom, I think it's a really great tool. I really, really do. I think that for me, when I talk with someone on the phone for a third party, that there's a real different feel when I can actually see their face. It's like a secret weapon when you can see their smiles and what you're talking to. You can see their body language, and you can just create this kind of this connection, because that's what we're doing. We're just creating a connection. So if you don't know how to use Zoom, I highly recommend it. And if you feel like I did a Zoom the other day, someone who was not computer savvy at all. She set it up. It was a windy setting on her side. I couldn't hear both of them. It looked like we were going to have a lot of technical difficulties. So instead of spending 10 or 15 minutes trying to teach her how to use Zoom, I just said, let's just shut this down and I'll just call you on the phone. So if you run into instances like that where, they're not ready and, there's going to be a lot of background noise or whatever, to shut it down, hop on the phone, because what you're doing is just making a first contact, and then you can establish that Zoom. So don't feel that if you say, I'm going to do this Zoom, I'm going to do it, the cost of everything, because just using that kind of common sense is key, I think. So, but having Zoom in your back pocket as a toolbox is huge. And how I got started with my one-on-ones is I used when I say one-on-ones, I just want to clarify, I mean myself sitting down with someone else and either having a third person on the phone, on speakerphone. I actually love that. I prefer that than having a third party on the phone and having that person talk. It's just worked way better for me because I'm sitting next to the person, I'm having a conversation with them, and I've already even set up the time that I could have that person call in, or sometimes I do it spontaneous. I say, I've let the upline know a little bit of time, but I say, I really want you to meet Brian. I really want you to meet Melody. Or they're just, that you guys remind me so much of each other, passionate about this business. I just want to see there's normal people working this business, and they can just call and have a conversation, and that just might be a touch for you. So that's more of an informal presentation, and I think that's really, for a lot of people that might be new or learning how to do this business, I think it's important to know that you can build your business very well and very rapidly with presentations like that. Now, if you feel like you don't have the time to go and sit down one-on-one with people, or you feel like you don't have people around you, these are other circumstances where what I would probably do is, like I said, I'm going to tell you some things you're not going to want to hear, is that you're not having that sign up rate with people over the phone, you're going to need to go to those people, and you're going to need to sit down with them, or you're going to need to find someone who'll go to those people for you. And it's just when you show up at someone's house, and you've you've made that drive to be there. And I know Melody's done that a couple of times, where it's like she realized when she drove that distance, and they was like, wow, they took you seriously. And for me, I knew that I kind of wanted this quality versus quantity. There were certain people I just wanted in my business. Not all of them joined, but a fraction of them did. And I get to work with those people still to this day. And it's powerful. So I've always told people, instead of trying to get people to come to you, go to them. You have a multi-million-dollar business. Multi-million-dollar business. And if you were to say, hey, come meet me after work, we'll just get together at a coffee shop, the likelihood of that happening is much, much less. And you've put your business in their hands. But if you say, listen, I know you just got off from work. I know you're tired. I get it. But what I have to share with you is so big, and I will just take 25 to 30 minutes of your time. I will come to you. I'll bring you a hot cup of coffee. I'll make it quick. Watch a little video together. I'm going to get someone on the phone with me, put them on speakerphone, and I just want you to hear this. And if you're not interested, I'll never bother you about it again. So going to people's houses to actually get to that stage took me a little bit. It wasn't always on the first time. Sarah Dooley, her husband was actually who I got into this business with first, and he had a pretty negative experience with network marketing, and it took me 5 or 6 times of connecting with him, trying to get him to a meeting, because I had that concept of going to him to get him to a meeting. Everything failed. All the things I tried to get him to, they all failed. The moment I went to his house, showed him a video, it was Jeremy and Johnny on the speakerphone, and they did the whole presentation. They signed up the next day. So it's all my results have been like that. I can go over every single person that in my organization that I couldn't get to come to me, but once I went to them, including my people over on Maui, they signed up that next day. So that's a pretty big testimony. So that's for me, which is how I built my business, because doing the home meetings, I think, are crucial. I think they really are, just so you can see the culture of this. And some people don't want you in their home, so if that's the case, offer to pick them up and take to a coffee shop or something like that. But I think that having that one-on-one is really huge. Then the more formal meeting is basically that presentation. And I think, for me, that took a little while to ramp up to where I was actually presenting, because I was very, very scared. And I was very intimidated. I would lose focus. I would stand up. My mind would sit down. I did my first home meeting sitting down on the chair, and but what I found is that I got to grow through that experience, and it's become a lot of fun presenting. But for that first year or whatever, I used upline because that was an area that was a weakness for me. But instead of stalling my business until I got that as a strength, I worked my business with my other strengths, which for me was that one-on-one, that quality connection, that finding out that was a strength that I had. And so don't stall your business or stop your business waiting to get ready to learn how to present. Find someone else that can do that for you until you work up the courage, or until you get that preparation to do it yourself. Because again, once you hear it over 3 years 100 million times from other people, you're gonna pick up information. I have composition notebooks that are just filled with the most amazing bits of nuggets from all of my elite academies and all my trainings, and you're not going to get that in your first week in the business, But after you've been involved in the business and you've put in some work and you see what you've needed, you're going to get those nuggets. You're going to find out what's going to inspire you. And then you're going to find that you're going to be able to inspire other people to do this business, because I really feel people are going to join you because of your passion and your inspiration about what you personally are inspired about. So if you're inspired about the products, go product forward. Get people into your business any way you can. If you're inspired about the business, Brian, I've heard him since the day I met him. He is sick and tired of sanding floors. He wants us so bad. I get all teary-eyed because I know that that's his passion, and he is crazy business forward. It's just like what he wants time freedom more than anyone I know. And so that's how he's built his business. So I think that, there's, find out what you're passionate about and go with that. And really, you want to create community. You want to create community with you wherever you are, because I know there's a lot of different people in a lot of different areas. And so we didn't have meetings when we started. We didn't have a team call probably until about maybe a year into the business, maybe 6 months. So you guys are really lucky because you have this community already, and you want to pull from that. And a lot of times it was just distributors. We got together underneath the tree, and we would talk about hopes, and we would talk about our dreams, and we would keep each other accountable. And the fact that you're all on this call tonight right here is huge. I mean, there's a lot of people on this call, and it's I feel like this team is hungry and ready, and it's grown so fast and so beautifully that it's amazing things are happening through this organization in particular. And I'm very, very pleased to know you. And I know that you've all put in so much different so much different sacrifice, and especially with the Sabbath on Saturday and such. It's an amazing story to tell. And so I kind of don't want to just ramble, and I'd love to open it up for some questions to get specific. If anyone has, I'm just trying to see if I go over some of my notes and see if I forgot anything. I just want to touch really fast on the events, because I know you have a couple coming up now. It sounds like, which is huge. I talked to Marcel, and he said this first LifeVantage Academy is just going to be huge, and the fact that they've all come together to create this unified team, really, of the Pro 10s, and how they're going to roll that out. And that first one, the energy that they're going to bring is just, I'm so excited. I'm really excited just to have my head there before we go into Elite Academy in October. And it's coming up super, super fast. But I'll tell you what, if anyone's on the fence for Orlando, it's where decisions are made. It's where every big decision I've ever made with my business has been made at Elite Academy, where I've stuck my stake in the sand. I've made connections, and it's just huge. Bethany she drove many, 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 many miles to go to the last Elite Academy. I was so inspired by that, and it's just I thought, over and over again, it's people in this business will do things that other people won't do. And you can kind of say that to yourself over and over again, is that, to have a different type of success, you're going to have to do some things that most people will not do. And 3 years into it, it's completely changed my life in a way that I can't even believe. That first year was extremely nuts and totally out of balance for me. And 3 years later, it's still nuts in a different way, but it's LifeVantage just completely changed my life. So I just said, I want you to know that it's real, and it wouldn't have happened without attending the events, without putting that sacrifice in and connection. And it's a big deal. I also want to do a little shout out to Rita, who hit Pro 3, and I met her at the last convention, and that was just a huge deal. She was going there for her first time, and now she's Pro 3. It's just like, the thing I love about this business is it works, you guys. It works. We had so many people walk across the stage last time as a Pro 4, Melody's first Elite Academy there. It was just incredible. So I'm going to stop talking for a second, and if anyone has any questions, or Brian, if you want me to cover anything a little bit more specifically, I'm more than happy to.
We'll see if anyone has any questions out there first. I have a couple of the phones muted. I'll unmute your phone. Is one of them do, but if anyone gets noisy, I'll have to mute you again. You guys have any questions? Come on, this is your chance.
I have a question.
Yeah. Hi.
So with being all the way up here in Yellowknife, we don't really have much upline that's anywhere near us that we can like invite and present like in-home presentations. And so what's the best way to try and get some in-home presentations going? When I'm not to the point where I feel comfortable to present, I wish I did, but I would love to be able to get some in-home presentations going for Yellowknife.
In-home meeting, you're at your house or going to someone else's house and doing like a one-on-one, like a group presentation or a one-on-one?
I was thinking like a group presentation.
Okay, great. How we did those?
Both.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we didn't have anyone here as well for probably, Julie and Daisy, everyone thinks that, they were born Pro 7s, but we all started out as distributors, right? And Pro 1s and Pro 2s and Pro 3s. And so we used Skype or Zoom, and we would put it up on a TV, and we had those people do presentations for us. So like if you, so you could basically get me on a TV, and I'd be more than happy to do a presentation for you. And what's great is I can see everyone there. They can see me. We can have that connection, and then there can be like, wow, if she can get someone on Zoom, then I can do this anywhere I am, anywhere in the world. And then again, for the one-on-one, what I did is I went in, I shared my story. I had the tear-off sheet, and we now have those beautiful flip brochures. I kind of just briefly went through what I knew, wasn't much. And then I had already told my upline I was going to be at this house, and I had them, I called the number, put it on speakerphone, and laid it on the ground.
Okay.
And I must have done that probably over 100 times.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And what is
So-
the flip sheet? You're saying the tear-off sheet? Is that something we get at a convention, or what?
Well, the tear-off sheet was before we had those really beautiful brochures. Now we have the does anyone have one in front of them?
No, I
The
don't.
brochures. Okay, I'm just gonna get one really fast.
While she's grabbing that, I live in Michigan, and I was the first distributor, on this Kauai team in Michigan, and I had no one else to do it. My first meeting, I had Rusty do it on Skype. I just put my iPad, set it up on a whiteboard, and let Rusty do the talking for me.
So this
You're right.
exactly. So this you might not have these, Bethany, because I actually bought these at the Lead Academy. They were sold separately. The new distributors get this in their box. But you should have a tear-off sheet that was sent in your last box, which has, and basically all it is it's just a reminder. And this is online too, so you can look it up online. It just has the company. It has the 6 components. It has the S curve. I just needed something where I could kind of check off. Actually, on the site, theprovenplan.com, Mark Shinsanto and Seth Mulder's site, they have a video. I don't know if he still has it up. It's pretty exciting, but it is with the old tear-off sheet, and he's giving an opportunity presentation to a young woman, and he goes over each of the components and literally just circled each one and wrote a little something about it. So that was my cheat sheet. So I just want to make it as simple as possible for myself.
So there's a video where you can watch him doing that, you're saying?
Yeah, with the old tear-off sheets, I'll find it and I'll post it on the Slack. Are you on Rusty's Slack?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can post on that. But let me, it's on. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen?
Yeah, I will. 1 second. Okay.
Okay, it's the
The
proven plan.com,
plan.
and that's Mark Shinsanto and Seth Mulder's site. There's a lot of really information on there. If you go on that site, you'll see you should see a little video that says tear off sheet presentation.
Okay.
And like I said, it's it's not super exciting, but it's full of information.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura, I got a question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
When you do a presentation, do you mind sharing with us what you cover in your presentation?
Yeah, I will. I've gotten more. I read something recently which I thought was pretty powerful, and it says that by the time you have that like a third meeting with someone that and they're maybe ready to make a decision, that you don't have much control at that point. They're going to make the decision that they're going to make. But at the time that you have the most control is during that first meeting. And I thought that was really powerful as far as the psychology goes, because most people are asking themselves right off the bat, and think about what you were thinking about when someone was asking us. Most people are asking themselves, can I make money? What do I have to do? And can I do this? And so that's why I said if you're with someone and they're setting up a Zoom and they can't get it down, shut it down, because they're thinking, I can't do this, and just go to a normal conversation. So I think the biggest thing is people think, can I do this? And that's what I've realized is when I first meet with someone now, let's just say this is on a one-on-one with what I share with someone, is I ask them a couple questions about what they're passionate about in life, and really try and get a feel for if they've had any kind of, one of my favorite questions is, do you know anything about network marketing? Or what's your experience with network marketing? That's usually one of the top questions in the first few minutes, because if you do a whole presentation and you don't ask that question, say this is a three-way phone call or a one-on-one, if somebody has had a bad experience, they're not going to listen to you at all. So if you can kind of get through the belief there about a network marketing, so you ask right away, do you have any experience with network marketing, and let them talk. And I love that question because it can tell you a lot. And then you can kind of go from there. With the three questions I just said, if like them wondering if I can do it, I usually will say something along the lines as, what we're doing in this business is we introduce people to each other, and most everyone can introduce someone to someone else. And that feels familiar to people because everyone knows how to introduce someone to someone. It's just, it's easy, right? Like, this is Sally, this is John. So if they just think all I have to do is introduce someone to someone else, I can do this business. And can I make money? If you're not making any money in the beginning, I think it's powerful to say that. I think it's powerful to say, I'm new at this. I'm not very good at what I'm doing. I'm totally scared right now and I'm not making a lot of money. And that almost stopped me from sharing this with you. I almost let this go, sharing this with you. And I realized that was selfish, because you should be able to make your own decision about this, because I know where I'm going to go and I've seen where other people are going. And so that kind of also helps with the can I do, kind of like, wow, they're being this vulnerable with me that they're scared to do it, but they're still doing it. So I kind of, it's like kind of a few different questions of just establishing a relationship with someone. So I usually will do that. First off, I used to just run right into the business. I can tell you some really bad experiences where they were 45 minutes, an hour long, where that person didn't say a word, and I just went on and on about the 2%. Yeah. Can
you just repeat that? You were kind of garbled there a little bit.
I was just saying a couple different calls where I went on and on about the compensation plan, and it's like I wasn't hearing what the people actually had a question about. So I'll usually kind of establish that relationship. I still love the question, if they've seen the video, what did you like best about the video? Because you'll find out what people are interested in. It's a really great question, product or health, or what people know about. So you'll find out a lot of people, if they answer the question a certain way, that they know a lot about health, and you can actually talk to them kind of scientifically if you feel comfortable doing that, if that third party that you have is comfortable. So what did you like best about the video? And also, then I like to just tell a tiny little bit about the company's story. I like to let them know, I think for me, that was a big deal. when I got involved. I loved that it was sold retail first and at GNC and High Health. And I always still get like wows when I tell people that it moved. You know, I say the ABC video was shown on a Sunday night, and people were sitting on their couch, and there was, 16 million viewers sitting there on a Sunday night, and they saw this video, and we had $5 million worth of sales come through. And I just kind of go through the numbers depending on the people. I say, we basically went from 3 million in sales to 218 million of sales, and still nobody knows about this yet. So you're just giving them a little nugget, a little nugget. And I in the beginning, when we didn't have, and I hope I'm not saying something wrong here, but we didn't have a lot of third party. Those were some of the statistics that I could memorize, that I felt comfortable sharing, that if I was stuck in a place where I had to share with someone, and I couldn't get a third party, I could. And it was on, a video on ABC. It was shown on ABC. We were sold retail first. So these little kind of nuggets, these little things that I could memorize pretty easy. And that we went from 3 million to 218 million. And then you're like, I don't know anything else, but I know that we're on our way to success, And I usually always share the 6 components, which are on this key path right here. And I kind of like to close. I keep it short. It sounds like a lot of information, but I usually keep it pretty short. And one of my favorite things I like to kind of end with, usually in a conversation, which I think is so true and so powerful, is that, if this is happening, it's not the pretend and work. It's proven to work, it's already happening. It's really only a matter of time before your friends and family hear about it. So, you've been tapped on the shoulder, and it's, you have an opportunity now where you can share it with your family and friends, or else they're going to share it with you. And it kind of makes people think like, oh, wow, like this is true. This is like going to be happening anyway. I can either be a part of this or not. And also letting them know like that they don't have to be salespeople to do it. So asking at the end, maybe some, I always like to ask people on a scale from 1 to 10, what their interest level is, because that can give you really, you think you might have slayed it, and someone's like, I'm a 3. Basically, Eric always says if they're a 1, then you've done a good job, because at least they're interested. And most people are much more, they're above that. So, yeah, did that answer that okay?
Laura?
Yeah.
Can you go back to what you were saying about when you aren't necessarily making money yet, what you can share? Because you had some questions that you said you like to ask, like, can I make any money? Can I do it? Like the questions that are going through people's minds, I think you were getting at.
Yeah, I was just saying that goes through, here, actually, let me just see if I can pull this up really fast.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I actually got this, sorry. I have it written off somewhere, but there's, Peter No, I got these questions from him, and I thought they were really powerful. He asked this at the end of every one of his presentations. He says, this is a health and wealth retirement program, and that most people are asking, what's in it for me? And so he says, well, who is here is looking for better health? Who here is looking for more time with your family? Who here is looking for more financial freedom? He doesn't necessarily wait for people to answer them. He says, do you have all of these 3 things today? If you have one or more of them, that's great. But what are you doing today that will bring you all of those 3 in the next 3 to 7 years? So what's in it for me? That's what someone's asking, better health, family, more time with their family, and that financial freedom. And he's saying, if you don't have all 3 of these things today, what are you doing where you can actually have these things in the next 3 to 5 years? And then he says, can I do this? I gave the example of just letting people know that they can introduce people to each other, and that's everyone can do that, So you could just leave it at that, but he gets a little more in depth, and he says, well, you're already doing this, because he's talking about the $200 auto shipment. He says, if you invest, or if you have a checking or savings account, you're already earning residual income. You're just not retiring from it. I thought that was pretty powerful. He says, also, are you consuming products, supplements, beauty products, energy drinks, supplements for your animals or weight loss? If you or your family together are spending more than $7 a day, which comes up to about $200 a month, then you're already doing this business. You're just not retired from it. And then the third one, is it worth my time? And he asks people, are you looking for a plan B? Are you looking to retire early? And if they're not looking for either one of those things, well, it might not be for them, you know. They might just want to be a customer. And he says, what's your plan for the next 5 years to make your dreams come into reality? So I thought that was powerful. You know, if you want more info, you can actually go on YouTube. Peter No, Pro8 Peter No, it's Peter, and his last name is spelled Ngo. Is it Ngo? Yeah, Ngo. He's a Pro8, and he has a pretty crazy. He has a couple crazy things he does. And I liked some of them, so I do what I do with everyone, is I just take a couple nuggets. You know, I never buy into everyone's plan completely. I just kind of take little nuggets from people that I like and whatever works for me. So you might find something that you really like from this presentation, and you might not. But there's definitely some good stuff, and he is a Pro8. So he has a sheet on there that he uses, and if you like that sheet, he actually sent me the updated sheet to my my Gmail a little while ago. So he's someone you can meet at Orlando if you like him as well, and ask him any specific questions. So I hope that helped.
How do you spell his last name again?
N as in Nancy, G-O, and it's pronounced no. He's he has a pretty crazy story. I think he tells it, but yeah, I'm not sure what nationality he is. Asian. Anyone else? Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Vince Cantrell. You said that your presentations are pretty short. You try to keep them short. How long do they usually take? I mean, what on your average presentation? I'm sure the more you do it, the better you get, and you know, they become more concise. But on the average, how long is your presentation?
And are you think on the phone or in person? Like in person or on phone?
You just
like a group presentation.
Yeah, you said most of your presentations have been face to face.
Yeah.
If you're doing a presentation face to face, about how long does it take for you to do a presentation?
Well, really, I really like to keep them like within a half an hour tops.
Okay.
You know, the thing is that what's tricky about the question is that you'll be having someone do that third party for you. So if you're not doing, you know what I mean? So like you would share your story, like, you know, just whatever it is. So if you're sitting down with a close friend, you're not going to, you might think they know your story. And it really was the hardest thing for me because I didn't know where to start. And can you hear me? It says my connection is unstable. Okay. So you might just say a couple things about your story. If it's someone that like, you know really well. I don't think people don't know you as well as they think you do. So they don't know what you don't like about what you're doing or what you're excited about and what you found. So share a couple aspects about that. So keep that short. Your story, and then you would watch the video together, preferably, unless they've already seen it. You know, I've never had any success with sending links. I never have with anyone watching. I didn't even watch the video. So I think sitting and watching the video together is powerful because it shows them that you're also still interested in it. So those two things should take about 10 to 15 minutes max. And then hopefully the person that you're calling in doesn't take a super long time presenting as well. But if they, you know, I've been in that situation where the person is asking a lot of questions, and if they're asking a lot of questions, I'll just keep talking. But mostly I'll try and keep it within about half an hour because they're thinking, one of their questions they're thinking in their head is, can I do this? Do I have the time to do this? Okay. So about half an hour, and I found it's pretty impossible. I have yet to come meet anyone that can do like a half an hour presentation. Like a group presentation, but I think like honestly 45 minutes is good for a group presentation. And it's really, I think it's important to, like, instead of opening up the floor for questions right there, it's kind of like dismiss everyone and then mill around, and so you can have that meeting after the meeting, because people sometimes feel like they can't leave if other people are asking questions, and then you don't get to have that meeting after the meeting. Does that answer that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? Has this been helpful? I feel like I've been all over the place.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Laura
Okay.
Albert Dobbin.
Yeah.
You were showing a brochure before. Is that the same one you had?
I think that was the old, nope,
I find this incredible. I gave it to my doctor today, matter of fact.
Uh-huh.
And what I've learned to do over the years, because I've built a few networks, is I pass through a lot of literature, sometimes, especially when you're meeting new people and you're probably not going to see them again for a while or ever. And I say, tell them a quick thing about, this breakthrough, and give them this brochure, because this one pretty much sums up everything in a very short way.
Yeah.
And I tell them, if you would like to learn more, just call the information on the back.
Have you had much luck with people calling?
Like I said, I've done that with other ones, but I'm just starting to do that now with this brochure. And I know I'll be successful because it's a attention grabber. Plus the fact, if you don't get a call back right now, I'm here in Yellowknife, I'm the first one, like a lot of us in our areas, right? South in Bethany. So what happens now, once you get enough brochures out there, when somebody else that comes in our business approach them, oh, I heard of this before.
Yeah. The
I
one
didn't
thing
know business before.
The one thing I would have to say that I would be careful about, which Carrie Dickey brought to my attention, which I thought was powerful, because I have a lot of people, not a lot, but over the years enough, which have wanted to do booths or pass out flyers or do certain things, and she says, if you want to do that, go ahead. But the thing is that people join people that they trust, and it usually happens on the second or third call. So if you're meeting someone, it might be different if it's your doctor and stuff, you have a relationship, but if you're just at a fair or booth or whatever, and you've spent money on printing copies and you're now using, your time to stand at this booth and you're telling everyone about pretend. If you get people's numbers, that might be something different. Like if they have a mailing or something, but basically what you're doing is, we all know this through the statistics, that people don't really make a decision until that third, fourth, fifth, or sixth follow-up.
Of course.
So,
But the thing is, what's the chances? Like I said, I don't do this just at booths. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about individually. Like I took it to my doctor today.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think it's,
what I'm saying, down the road, even if he don't respond to me, down the road, somebody else may approach him, and he will respond.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that, anything like all this information is, this is third party, you guys. This is third party validation.
Right.
All of this, ABC video is third party validation. So yeah, if that's working for you, and it's just like, one of your exposures that you do when you're leading people through those 5 exposures, they don't all have to be phone calls. They can, and I guess I just want to leave on one thing that I feel like is super important, that, when you are doing your presentations, the thing I always do, and especially if you're the third party, third party, make sure that you invite your prospect or whoever is on the phone to the next exposure. And if you're at
You kind of froze up, Laura, if you can hear us. Well, while she's coming back on, I did a quick meeting for one of our guys today at work. He showed the primetime news. This was Spencer, Rick. He showed the primetime news to one of his buddies, and he brought me on for validation. I just took a quick 5 minutes. Does this interest you? And he said, yeah. I said, well, what we need to do is schedule you for another meeting so you can hear the rest of this. I said, this is just a quick look at this to see if you'd be interested or not. So,
Thing is, guys, what I want to say again here, what I was talking about, when you pass those, if you have the opportunity to follow, everything is in the follow-up. Now, the next time I see my doctor, I'm certainly going to bring up this brochure I gave him.
yeah.
If possible at all. Like I said, sometimes I even mind chatting to somebody on the airplane. I just like to leave them with something because you never know. Some of the biggest distributors in the industry came out of situations like that.
Most definitely. I had that happen. Sorry, my computer just died, so I just hopped back on with the iPhone.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I have had a couple people with great success with some cold market calls like that as well. But I just wanted to say one more thing before I wrap it up. If anyone has any more questions, just with the importance of booking that BAM Fam, we call it BAM Fam, book a meeting from the meeting. So if you have a presentation, especially if it's a group meeting, Melody's sometimes asked like, gosh, how do I book, get everyone to have a follow-up? You have your calendar with you, and you know what your schedule is and what you're clear when you're free. And so you're literally, if you have 4 or 5 guests, you're going to have to move kind of quickly before they leave. And you're going to have to be like, okay, I know you're busy, you got to go, I got to go too, but when can we get together later on this week? I'm available Tuesday or Thursday. Can I come over to your house, or can we have coffee? And you just make those follow-up appointments, because people are excited, but when they get in their car in the parking lot and they get a call from their kids or something, their importance or urgency of what they just saw, the reality goes from a 10 to a 2, sometimes that fast. Or they meet someone who, says something negative and it goes down. And if you've already made a commitment with them to have an appointment, it's about an 80 to 90% chance of them keeping that appointment versus you then trying to get a hold of them later. So I've had, I just wanted to leave you with that because I think it's a real success.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And my question is, what brochure is this that I think it was
Me showing?
what?
This one?
Yeah.
That's the Protandim, and it shows all the information with Dr. Joel in there.
Okay, it's really, really hard for me to hear everybody because it's very scratchy.
Okay. And that timeline she was talking about is there too.
What is the name of it?
It's just called Life Vantage Protandim NRF2 Sensitizer.
Okay, does this come in with the package that you get from LifeVantage when you become a distributor? Is it in there?
Yes, yeah. You can also buy them in 10 packs.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to see my eye doctor on Thursday, and I know him very well for years. So this would be, and we talk a lot, so this would be perfect for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank Laura for being on here. That was just an awesome presentation, and I really appreciate you taking your time, to give us some of your wisdom, Laura.
Oh, my pleasure. I hope that there's some nuggets found on there.
Yes, thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
I'd like.
Yeah, and I just want.
We hope that you'll join and share with us again.
Yeah, well, what's so great is that the Orlandos and the conventions, when we get together, usually on that Thursday or Saturday night, is a really great time where I get to meet you in person, and we can sit down and go over some things. So again, I don't want to ask who's going or not on this call, but if you're on the fence at all, the next Elite Academy isn't for another 6 months after this. And I firmly believe that by not going to the Elite Academy, and again, I'm going to tell you things that you don't want to hear, but that's just, my job, that by not going to the Elite Academy, you really postpone the momentum of your business. It's a fact, because when you leave there, you're left with just that urgency. And it's our company, and it's kind of a weird thing with network marketing, because we're all our own bosses, and we have this company which is out there. And so when we come to Elite Academies, we get to see what's new, see what's happening, see, just like touch everything that's going on within our company. I mean, that's our company. And so it's this proud moment to get together and also see people that are doing it, and just get that inspiration. You never know. You could be sitting next to someone and get something that completely different than what they got. And sometimes those little nuggets are things that will propel your business, and that nugget could be worth millions of dollars in the long run of your business. It really could. So I hope to see you all there, and to really just take that as an investment for yourself. It's part of the overhead of this business, and we put out a lot before we saw that reward. But the thing is a lot of people leave school with $180,000 or more debt and no job, putting in, a couple $1,000s, in a year or whatever, towards education, starting a business that you may have never done before is totally legitimate and important to do, to educate yourself so that you can be the success that you want. And so, yeah, I'm a firm believer in the system, and it's really there for us to succeed and to do it the fastest way possible. So anyway, I'll end on that note. And if anyone, wants to ask me anything more or a question, feel free to text me. My phone number is 808-652-5940, 808-652-5940. You can text me or email, or I'm on the Slack as well. So thanks for having me, Brian.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
and everyone. It's an honor.
Thanks, Laura.
I'd love to have a copy of all that, your notebook with all your notes over the years.
It's worth, I'll tell you what, it's worth millions. These little notebooks, these compensation notebooks, are worth a lot of money. As it's but the best thing about this is, if you actually did, I would let you photocopy any single one of them, because I want you to know all my secrets, and that's what's so great about this business. So bring your printer, and I'll bring my notebooks, and you can photocopy away.
I'm terrible at taking notes. Anytime I can.
All right, well, I'm going to sign off here, but much love to everyone, and take care. Have a great night.
Thanks,
Brian,
Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Good night, Laura.
Okay, my pleasure. Bye.
Brian, before you go,
Hey, Rusty. See
we're
you.
willing to stay on the line.
Sure. I'm here.
Brian, I'm here, Karen. I just finally got in. But
Hey,
anyway.
glad you're on. All right.
What was her area code again?
808.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Karen, it was taped, so you can go back and listen to it later.
Yeah. This is tape, and also if
You should stop recording.
Okay.